We're here for the deal makers, the revenue generators, the margin expanders, for distributors, manufacturers, and retailers, for the Lone Ranger, calculating rebates in spreadsheets, and the large teams overseeing complex deals. We're here to connect rebate experts with each other, to build a community of leaders and forward thinkers, to help you connect with other rebate experts so you can learn from each other and grow your careers. It's time to join the most exclusive community for rebate strategy on the internet. We're here for the rebate strategists.
And we are here for the great Rebaters.
We're back.
Happy New Year, Mark. Happy New Year. Happy Valentine's Day. Jeez.
That's not inappropriate at all. Digital, virtual this time.
Yes, our last LinkedIn Live was magical because it was in person. Our first.
Was.
I missed it. I can't touch you. Nothing.
Nope.
This is social distance at its best.
No touching.
No touching. Not allowed. And love is in the air, speaking of touching, but not that kind of love. So we're going to keep it very PG.
Mm-hmm.
Happy Valentine's Day. You excited for today?
Yeah. Spread the rebate love. That's what an evangelist does, isn't it? Spreading rebate love for everybody.
Yes, that's what we're all about. And speaking of spreading that rebate love, we have a very special guest coming on today. One of our dear partners, IDEA. They are the electrical industry's preferred product data service provider, and we have Mike Wentz, who's the VP of Sales and Marketing at IDEA, and we got to bring him on board because we've established a partnership with them that gives access to, data, information, and key insights for their distributors, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm really looking forward to this one because I don't know a lot about kind of, IDEA other than, I know broadly what they do, but I'm really looking forward to learning a bit more about this one because it's so focused on kind of the industry and so expert in the world they operate. And as I understand it, a really critical component. So I'm can't wait to hear what Mike is going to tell us.
Mike is going to tell us a lot, and I'm really excited as well. So without further ado, I think we should bring on the man, the legend that they call Mike Wentz to the show, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mike. How's it going?
It's going great. Happy to be here today.
Oh, we're happy to have you. And, Mark talked about sharing that rebate love. And listen, you're one of our preferred partners when it comes to the rebate management space. And, we're working with you and your team diligently to, obviously spread that love, spread that magic, and just, turn rebates into a strategy for all of your partners and your members. So just to kind of kick things off, would you mind giving, the audience a ramble in terms of who IDEA is and what they offer the marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. IDEA actually was brought into existence almost 25 years ago, and IDEA stands for the Industry Data Exchange Association. Now, we're not an association because we're owned by two associations, which in U.S. law, two associations can't own a third association. So we're a for-profit business, but we're owned by the National Association of Electrical Distributors and jointly with the National Electrical Manufacturers Association. And IDEA was created to create a very efficient way to exchange product information from manufacturers to authorized electrical distributors in North America. And what's unique about our model was that, there were a number of companies that were providing that kind of service over 25 years ago, and they were all privately owned. And manufacturers really stepped up and said, this is our intellectual property. We want to control the flow. We want to control what happens to our information about our products. And we want to make sure that we have a trusted single source of that information. And that's why IDEA was created in the first place. So today we synchronize over probably over 300 different distributors in North America. We have over 100 distributors around the globe that are also being synchronized. And we have approximately about a little over 1,000 different brands of products and 3 million items, over 3 million items in our database today.
Jeez, 3 million itemized products like in your database. That's not an easy feat at all, right? Like
that's a lot of electrical products.
Yeah. And if you think about like just the dynamics of that in terms of, you know, constant updates to product information and so forth, pricing, you know, it's you have your work cut out for you in terms of the, you know, the value that you offer up that distribution channel. So no, kudos to you guys. And I will, you know what, refrain from any puns related to IDEA. I promised myself I'm going to hold back. So, but yeah, like speaking of 3 million products, 3 million SKUs, talk to us about, you know, data disparity and the importance of data harmonization.
Yeah, it's really critical within the channel. You know, the way we look at it, the information should be the same throughout, from the manufacturer all the way down to the contractor or the building owner where the product is being implemented and installed. You know, all the systems that are built to make the supply chain work in the electrical space are so much more effective if you're basically using one source of data and making sure that it's consistent throughout. You know, many times these applications that are developed that serve the industry, you know, you get bogged down in implementing them because the data that the distributor might have doesn't match what the manufacturer has. And what we've been able to do in our partnership with Enable is to eliminate that disparity and make sure that the information is consistent between the trading partners. So that makes the application, the time to value, so much shorter and makes it more effective.
I think it's interesting you mentioned that, Mike, because I recall being exposed to an ERP implementation at where I worked as a general merchant. And one of the biggest challenges we had was migrating our product kind of price book from the old system to the new, to the point that even up until the point when we had gone live, we were still fighting that process. And so having that technology or that information available to electrical distributors, I can imagine is absolutely, an amazing product for them. And I wish we had it in more industries, because, like you say, it's about that single source of the truth. For me, it's about that end consumer being able to go to, doesn't matter who they go to, if they've got a product code or something, they're going to get the same product code, also the same product wherever they go. It just brings conformity to what I deem as a highly risky industry. I mean, I know you mentioned it just before we came on, as to that the electrical industry had to take this step. I don't know if you want to explain that a little bit more, because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, in the electrical space, if you look at the history in North America, it was more organized. It was a more organized industry than, say, plumbing or HVAC even, or industrial distribution. Primarily because in the electrical space, people can be injured, they could die if things aren't installed properly, and if people don't understand specifications. So safety was a primary concern, and manufacturers took those steps to make sure that the products were safe. Well, along the same lines, those standards that were created on safety were then transferred to standards on data. So the electrical industry created standards that everyone could follow, and it made it more uniform throughout the industry and allowed us to progress very quickly. The electrical industry in the US was one of the first distribution industries to have a standard item coding system, a standard convention for that, which led to the eventual adoption of UPCs and UPC codes. So that allowed the industry to automate a lot of processes a lot quicker than other industries that didn't have a standard numbering system. So EDI was one of the first methods of transferring data in the electrical space, again, because you had a standard numbering convention. One computer could communicate with another computer because they knew what they were looking at was the same data and the same item codes.
Yeah, and just for I think more for my sanity, I think so. My understanding is, let's say I set up an electrical distributor, and I've got my brand new ERP, all shiny, it's out of the box, but it hasn't got anything in yet. I can then come along to IDEA, and what would have previously taken me a lot of work across many different manufacturers and different suppliers, I come to our IDEA, which are almost my one-stop shop for everything I need, product related, pricing related, all of that information. So then I can almost start trading very quickly. But what's even better than that is it keeps me up to date as well, because I know from first-hand experience, one of the biggest challenges is keeping all of that data up to date, especially when products are constantly evolving and we're having new ones come out all of the time.
Oh, that's so true. I mean, we average well over 100,000 changes every week to the data that we have. And, with new ERP systems, there definitely tends to be two sectors. One is you have to have the right product information initially to build your inventory on. But then you also have to have the right pricing matrices and customer records to provide that customer specific pricing. So we get a jump start, or our customers can get a jump start, because they take an initial load of all of their authorized manufacturers. And today they want all the data, not just what they stock, because they want to have a catalog as well that they can order material that's requested that may not be stocked. And so, that gives them a tremendous start to begin to make that ERP system highly functional, almost right out of the gate.
Yeah. And I see with evolution as well, as we have to improve things like sustainability reporting, even things like weights and measures for postage, things like that. I see everything's going to be going through that. This needs to be reliable. It goes to one place. It means the job only has to be done once. So if I'm a manufacturer, as much as I say it's great for a distributor, but for a manufacturer who deals with thousands of distributors, suddenly they deal with one place. They update that one place, and by doing that, they have updated thousands of distributors, as an example. So I see that being so powerful as businesses want to increase their online presence. Again, I've witnessed that firsthand. The challenges of building out. It's easy to set up a website. It's easy to create landing pages, shopping carts, all of these things. You can buy most of that off the shelf. Then you've got the next challenge. Can you load all of your product information into there, please? And again, that was the biggest holdup for us as we had an electrical distribution arm. And that was the single thing that held up our process. Because unfortunately, in the UK, we didn't have IDEA. We have some equivalents, but probably not as encompassing as the service you provide. So yeah, I just see it's that being efficient. It's about putting the right work in the right places and having starting to create these one-to-many relationships, so that people, the information, like you mentioned earlier, you have that one version of the truth. So I think that's very important.
No, it's true. And, when IDEA was created, the original focus was just on transactional data. And you mentioned volumetric data and, spec sheets and MSDS sheet safety and
Mhm.
all of this enriched catalog content, we refer to it as, or assets that are digital assets. That's all been in really the last 5 to 10 years, I would say, has been added to it. So, we're not just an exchange for digital data, but it's also the catalog assets as well. And we initiated a program to capture all the volumetrics, even when the manufacturer can't provide it. We now offer a service that will actually go out and support the manufacturer by implementing a Cubiscan in their location and scanning all of that, because weights and measures is so important today because of automated shipping systems, automated warehousing systems, and also, for calculating freight for electronic orders that come in over the internet. So we've evolved a lot, and of course, the amount of information that's important to distributors and manufacturers just keeps growing every single day.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier as well about AI, and I think this is a really good point at which we can dovetail that in. So, as we talked about, what we've got is kind of the traditional AI and the modern AI, I think. But if we look at now, we have all of this enriched data. Modern AI, what it can do with that, to my mind, is staggering. So I think, there's a lot in the news at the moment about, the latest AI, ChatGPT as an example. Used the right way, it's not, in my opinion, a threat to people's livelihoods, things like that. What this is something to harness and embrace. So as an example, you have all of your enriched data. An order comes through from a customer on an email, free text. Something like ChatGPT can take that free text email, can look at all your enriched data and go, here are the products the customer's trying to order. So that, to me, it's things like that are a real practical use case. We know we've already got speech to text recognition. So it means it could even technically take a voicemail, put it to text, look through the catalog, here's the order. Yes, you can go further with producing quotes and things, but I think for start, that kind of thing it can be really powerful. I mean, what are your experiences of AI, and how, it's evolved with IDEA?
Yeah, I mean, we've been approached by a number of technology companies that are developing applications that use AI that will supplement what humans can do in a distributor or manufacturer business. And they look to us as a validation point, so that if the AI is doing a translation of either verbal or written communications, that it can validate not only against, say, the distributor's database, but they can also validate against a industry-wide database.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw the shortage of human resources coming back before the pandemic. A couple of phenomena happened. I think there were some people that decided to drop out during the pandemic and retire early, but there's a lot of people that are staying on now longer, I think. But we know there's a shortage coming. So these systems are definitely in our future, because a inside salesperson can use one of these tools and can construct 10 orders in the time that 10 responses to requests for orders in the same time that it would take him maybe to do one that came in where he had to himself transcribe what the customer was asking for.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any joy in taking a customer's email, digging through your ERP to try and find the products. If that can be automated and that'll save you a few minutes, that's a few minutes you've either got, as you say, to process more orders, or even when you can phone the customer and have a chat with them about what projects are they working on, what are they doing next. It means your relationship can actually be a relationship that is more about people than transactions. And I think we've I think just as almost like a global society, we've kind of gone away from that. We became very transactional because everybody was just so busy. Whereas now, hopefully, with this technology, we can get a bit back to that, where people can spend more time talking to people. And I think because that's really where the value comes between a customer and and their supplier. You shop with them because of that service you get, because you trust them. So it's so important to build that. So I'm really excited by that. Reggie, I'm mindful, as always, I've just started running away with the conversation.
No. This is good banter. Like, I love what Mike mentioned about, like, the conversation you've been having about AI and so forth. I know one of the biggest challenges within the electrical industry that you mentioned, Mike, was obviously human resources, right? So the generational turnover and how AI could actually alleviate some of those pressures. That obviously dovetails into the lack of resources and then inaccurate data. And obviously, when we combine forces, idea and enable, that's that opportunity to kind of create that orchestration within one entire ecosystem that serves many, right? So it brings that source of truth. It brings clarity, guidance, visibility, to obviously build efficiencies for everybody. Now, where do you, what does the crystal ball tell you in terms of where idea and enable could actually take the electrical industry? One particular area that is near and dear to Enable's heart is special pricing agreements. How do you think that we can kind of combine our forces and satisfy special pricing agreements for the electrical industry?
Yeah, I mean, spas in North America are really big, especially in the electrical space. And, we knew that there was an opportunity to have a centralized, uniform solution that could be a total functioning collaboration platform. And, we identified Enable really before Enable was even available in North America. So our relationship goes back, a number of years. And what we think is so valuable about what we can offer as a combined solution is, a centralized platform that the industry can standardize around, along with a standard data set, creates all kinds of efficiencies so that, when distributors want to become more efficient, manufacturers want to become more efficient, there's one place to go and it's done in the same fashion, time in and time out. There's so much wasted time if you're a distributor and you have 300 different manufacturers that do rebates and spas in a unique way. How much more efficiency would we have if everybody kind of standardized around a single platform? And that's what our vision is for the future, that there will be a common data set and a common rebate platform that will function for spas and rebates.
No, that's fascinating, especially like, let's think about the occurrences, like the updates that you mentioned, at the top of the conversation. You said roughly around 100,000 updates per week.
Yeah, and that may be an old number, but it's quite a few every week.
So, if we obviously scale that out based on the activities associated with spa special pricing agreements, in order for us to automate those sequences, that's true value right there. That will satisfy all the stakeholders involved within the supply chain. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And eliminate a lot of manual processes. I mean, a lot of people may think they're automated because they have a number of spreadsheets that they use, but that's not really automating the process.
Yeah. There was a question here actually by one of our audience members, Kale Parks. So just if we rewind the tape, you talked about that standardization in terms of within the electrical industry related to product information. I guess the question was, can you speak on how long ago those standards were established?
Yeah, it's been a long time now. I mean, when the industry got together and formed IDEA, it was in 1998, 99 timeframe. So the industry, there were a lot of working groups that got together in those early years that created a lot of standards, not only about data, but also data exchange. So we created EDI standards within the electrical space, and the data standards that manufacturers, populate their data in our system with. And that's evolved and continues to evolve. So, all the time there are continuing developments that are being made to, further address the needs of the industry and make sure that, we're doing it in a consistent fashion and not everybody's doing it every different way.
Cool.
So slightly different topic, Mike, based on what we talked about earlier, because everybody gets a curveball question from me. Unidentified flying objects. So do you think this is the we all know there's the Chinese one, but then we've got these other weird and wonderful ones. Do you think are they coming from somewhere like China? Is it Reggie's children's birthday party, the inflatables that have just come away from the ground, and there's flying bouncy castles coming out from Canada to the rest of the world, or have we got aliens that we've just decided to shoot down as a first gesture of friendliness? Where do you think this is all coming from?
Well, they seem to be coming our direction from Canada. So I think we have to look at Canada first and figure out, are they coming out of the Yukon, or are they starting somewhere beyond that? But, it makes me think a lot about President Ronald Reagan back in the 80s, when he wanted to have that space shield that he wanted to be able to protect us with, like a dome, I guess. I don't know. It's been quite interesting this last week, seeing all of this activity with these unidentified flying objects. I have a son who's in the Air Force and is a pilot, and I was kidding him the other day. I said, I wonder if all these fighter pilots are marking their kills of these balloons on their aircraft like they did. I don't think they probably are bragging about shooting down balloons, but we're doing what we have to do, I guess.
Yeah, I did. Interestingly, I read in the news that the pilot who had to shoot down, was it the one over, is it Wisconsin, missed with the first missile. I mean, that's an expensive miss, because those missiles are something like $400,000 a pop. But but apparently they're very difficult to shoot down, because they're quite small, and they don't, missiles aren't designed to take these things down.
It sounds like there's a Top Gun 3 in the making, going after the giant balloon.
Yeah, I like that. That's what we need. Tom Cruise, he'll deal with it.
The Maverick, always up to his old tricks.
Yeah,
that's my guy.
Yeah. So okay, but no, that's good. Yeah, I agree. We'll just blame the Canadians for now, Reggie.
Listen, we're givers. That's who we are.
Yeah.
Nature. We'd like to spread the wealth, right? Especially to our neighbors.
Yeah. I like the way they said we won't shoot them down because of the risk to the people below as they're flying over Canada. So I didn't realize it was that.
You did, Mark. Look what you did. You just started a trend. We have, Cale Parks is now, is riding that gravy train of the UFOs, is now asked another question. So in terms of repeats, unforecasted UFO appearance are equal to misaligned expectation and trading expectations.
That is, wow. Where do you go with that one, Cale? That is a stretch to link the two, but give him credit for that one.
All right, cool. No, Mark, thank you for that curveball question, Mike. This is what Mark does, right? He's the professor. He'll ask something outlandish, and it's fine, but it's very thought-provoking, adds tremendous value to the conversation. Our time is up now, but listen, we want to thank you for joining us on the Great Rebaters, and we want to thank everyone that tuned in, and we'll be back soon, right? I think it'd be going on vacation, but Mark, I think we got something cooking. And also, Mike, I hear we're going to be doing a webinar between Enable and Idea. So
absolutely, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we're going to keep that chatter going. So, and if you want information about that webinar, feel free to hit us up, and we'll give you all the information that you need to tune into that webinar. So, Mike, on behalf of Enable, thank you very much. The professor, we'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mike.
All right.
care.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.